Amazing Spider-Man #5 by Zeb Wells, pencils by John Romita Jr., inks by Scott Hanna, colors by Marcelo Menez, letters by VC's Joe Caramagna. And I'll give the book something. Me and you are starting to like it more as we have gone on. We were a little confused at the beginning and maybe not loving it, but at this point, I'm kind of digging it. I'm here for, whatever story it is. I still want to know what happened in York, PA, but we'll get to that.
This wraps up the first arc, presumably would close the first trade paperback. And we get some callbacks to that first issue, some kind of bookend scenes, but we still don't learn anything at all about what the hell happened 6 months ago.
No, and why Peter is being a jerk.
Obviously, in scenes where naturally people would say something, they very unnaturally don't. So let's get to it already. Maybe that's the next arc, right? Maybe the next arc is all about that.
And with that, there's that idea, like I said, we don't really see Peter being a jerk in the book per se. We see a little.
No, he's more of a sad sack.
In this 6 months, he must have been a real jerk. Like he seems to. The big thing that the play is that you didn't call me. Like everybody's so over the top mad, and it seems like what little we got is, oh, you didn't want to talk to me before. Oh, you didn't want my help.
Well, we don't know if he was a jerk or if there was some situation he was forced into that makes him have to look like a jerk.
Yeah, I want to know. It's getting a little long in the deal. Like I need to know, but
again, the whole first arc, nothing.
Yeah, Tombstone and the Roses War is over, courtesy of Spider-Man. After holding the wall crawler underground for a few days, Tombstone led Spider-Man to believe his gang was on the cusp of carrying out a massacre while disguised as the Rose and his men. Fearing for countless innocent lives, Spider-Man broke free and tore through Tombstone's hideout, and then only discovered he'd been let loose on an unsuspecting Rose. It's a bad day to be the Rose, right?
It's a very, did I do that kind of moment?
Yeah, really. With the Rose and his gang officially out of commission, Spider-Man has to deal with the fallout of Tombstone's victory. And there is a bit of a fallout. And it's a weird play here. I did see some people saying that they didn't like the idea that Spider-Man goes to Tombstone. Kind of says, listen, we were teamed up. Let's team up again. You don't really know exactly what's happening and how he's doing that.
He obviously doesn't mean it. He's not being seriously like, I was going to team up with Tombstone. He's been a sarcastic a-hole, like we love.
And I'm surprised Tombstone just doesn't kill him. I mean, he's there. He's already beat the crap out of him. He's not in, the best of shape right now. And he's just hanging at Tombstone's house, kind of making fun of him and whatnot. But I think there's a weird play here because in that, you end up having all the crime, guys, the bosses all get together, as they have. I'm telling you, Crime Master, poor Crime Master, it makes so much fun of him right in front of his face. And he's like, hey, I'm right here. It made me laugh. But they do say, hey, that's a little convenient that Spider-Man was able to take out the Rose. And even then, but we know the story. But it looks to them like, what, you getting Spider-Man on the payroll? What are you teaming up with him?
And this is one of those scenes. We had an equivalent to this scene back in that first issue where we had, again, the close-ups of all these bad guys. So it's definitely Zeb Wells saying, here, I'm putting a bow on this particular story. Here's how it all kind of mirrors itself.
Yeah. And he ends up saying, listen, what happened is Spider-Man came after me. I roughed him up. He went after it's a nice way for him to diss the Rose as well. He went after, the other littler fish, the Rose. He was able to take care of them. He's probably frustrated. He probably did that. But it's a weird play then where Peter seems to later like, hey, I'll team up with you. Like, that's not what Tombstone really needs, and it might screw him even if you ended up doing that.
Peter's saying you don't want to be seen teamed up with me because that'll ruin your rep. Well, that'll ruin Spider-Man's rep just as much.
I mean,
just like, Fisk was putting up billboards with his name and Spider-Man on it, right? And that, that meant all the heroes hated Spider-Man because they thought he was working with Fisk.
Exactly.
It's the same thing.
Have that in a lot of things. That's kind of the Shang-Chi deal that we've been dealing with, where he's there, oh, you're bad, they'll go after him, and they don't know what's going on. But we'll see how that plays out, because it doesn't really end in anything except Peter getting back at Tombstone to show him, like, you're not the only one who can, ruin things.
He gets back at him a little, but it's not close to even, right?
I mean, he ends up ripping through. I think he takes down that whole, maybe it's just that one shipment, but he does some bad.
He costs him some money, yeah.
Again, though, remember what happened when he cost him money before? I think that this is maybe more than that. The whole thing with Tombstone started when he ended up at those docks, getting those, the gliders. So I think that this is just Spider-Man doing it. But I do like how you see him, progressing to that. He's, at this point, he's still a bloody pulp. And he ends up where you go back to his apartment and he's zipping in. You have that guy who's out on the stoop. This guy's annoying. I guess he's supposed to be, but seriously, he's just hanging
bill
there.
Collector guy with his funny hat. I don't know how this makes economic sense to pay this guy.
It is like that weird deal. Maybe it's all principle, right? You're like, I don't care. And I don't mean principle as the money. I'm talking about like, well, you owe us $2 million, but I'm going to pay this guy $5 million because I want to get you.
I don't think insurance companies and hospitals work like that. I think they're all about the money.
By this time, I think they would have sold off that debt to some people that just would constantly be trying to call or text Peter. But you have all this where, Black Cat comes by, Felicia comes by to see Peter and like, hey, and again, you play that deal where everybody who knows Peter knows this dude because he's always hanging. But hey, what's up? You see Parker? No, I haven't seen him. What's going on? You again? And, then you see Spider-Man because he thinks, oh, he must be up in his room. He's never coming out. He's scared, whatever. We know he's leaving. It's Spider-Man. And so does Felicia. So she ends up in like a Batman-esque deal. Like, does she need that coat? I mean, really? She just boom out of the coat and goes up.
Yeah,
as this guy's trying to ask
collection
a date.
guy is only thinking two-dimensional, right? He thinks Peter Parker's got to walk in this front door, but Felicia knows, and you can see Spidey swinging up top. She knows who it's really about.
Oh, so this guy's like, hey, baby, you want to... Like, he's trying to pick out... Boom, goes up. And this is a nice little conversation. We haven't had much of these, but this is where, again, like you said, you kind of want to have this, like, hey, when this happened, and it's not your fault. Or, hey, when this happened, you were doing this. But you don't get that. You do mention, which threw me off, but you explained it to me, and I do agree. When she says, hey, you haven't been right in the head since the accident with Ben. So that goes back.
Yeah, that's just back the beginning and beyond.
It was odd for me to have anything mention of Ben in this at this point, especially with that big York thing that we don't know. But at this point...
and that's another thing we haven't seen. We haven't seen Chasm.
Yeah, Chasm. You end up where... Did John Romita go and say, honey, I'm just saying, can you get out some really awful steaks from the freezer? Come out. Beat the crap out of him. Leave him out for 3 days because I need to draw Peter's face because it's awful.
Reference material.
Oh my God! And I thought the weird play of this,
bloody and bruised and misshapen. But I do like that. Peter got the snot beaten out of him, and it doesn't just go away, right? He heals a couple times. He heals quickly, but it's not like Deadpool or Wolverine, right? He just kind of heals pretty quickly. So he remains injured this whole issue. And he's injured in a way that even when his mask is on, you see he's got this big old lumpy face. So you can tell, even when he's Spider-Man, that he's really beat up.
He's had some problems. Now, the funny thing is, looking at on my bit of a lower res computer screen here to do our deal, it doesn't look as bad. When it's on my tablet, when I was reading it on my tablet, where it's up, you really have this play. And I some things that I do like. I like that he took the time to actually, that one eye is all bloodied up. That's what happens when you get punched in the eye. If you've ever been punched in the eye, that's cool. But the blood on his face, the way it is when you see it on my tablet, at least, it looked like his face wasn't just bloody. It looked like he had some crazy disease, like some alien disease with the white on the red.
Or like a weird birthmark, like a Mikhail Gorbachev
That's what it
on
ended
his
up
face.
looking like. And I swear to God, for a second, because then I realized, no, I'm being an idiot. I'm thinking to myself, have we seen Peter's face? Because maybe this is what happened. Like he's just, I'm not an animal. Like he's running around. But I'm like, no, we saw this. This is just him. He got beat up. But Jesus, criminy plus, I know that may be professional courtesy, but please, Black Cat, look at him. He is, destroyed. And she's just like, hey, what's up there, champ? Like he had some problems in the head after
Ben. Hey, buddy, how's it going?
Hey, when you get your smile back. I'm like, that panel when she says, you find your smile of yours, give me a call. When he's in the, who is that? I mean, this is like, and also she should say like.
Yeah, it's very Rocky Balboa at the end of Rocky, yeah.
Or Rocky from Mask. I mean, let's just go Rocky. It's like that. So you end up where she's saying that. At least give him like something to wipe off his face. It's so bad. It's over the top bad.
She does give him some advice that, stop playing hurt, start playing smart. You're at your best when you're having fun, which is a very Spidey thing, right? When he's quipping, when he's being clever, when he's, being lighthearted, that's when he's at his best. And he does seem to take that to heart.
Yeah, he does. And it's funny. She's like, maybe I'll let you chase me around a bit when you get the smile. And he does smile after this. I'm like, is she coming back now? But he still looks horrific. So she's got to wait till he heals. But then again, it's almost like the idea that Black
At least
Cat.
put the mask back on.
Yeah, Black Cat, really, that'd be funny. Put that mask on there, please. I just want to see Spider-Man.
Have Deadpool show up and say, oh, buddy, you're looking bad.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I know where I've been there. Here you go. But it's funny because Felicia is kind of talking almost like the fans through the deal. Like, we do want the fun Spider-Man. We do want to have that. And we have gotten a bit of that, but now he's gotten the crap kicked out of him and whatnot. And he has revenge on his mind. I really think that this play with Zeb Wells is that there's Peter who wants to not just get back at Tim, but he wants to show Tombstone, listen, I'm clever like you. I could do nonsense too.
Again, this is a mirror of an earlier scene. We saw that one scene where he was going to get up and go to this job interview, right? And then he didn't have the energy, didn't have it in him. He just didn't go. But we see now he's back at it, right? He gets his coffee. He's out on his job, which is not a real job, but it's a spider job. We see collections guy at 6 a.m. is already out there.
This guy doesn't give up.
My God.
Seriously, I wanna hire him. I don't know what for, but seriously. The idea I think the play is, and Zeb Wells is doing that when Peter is doing Peter and Spider-Man things, he likes it. He's having fun. That's where he would be inspired. He doesn't want to go get another job some other place, whatever. This is what he wants to do. Now, again, you're going to have to pay the bills, especially with that collection guy there. Maybe that's the play, too. It's almost like that idea of, well, if I'm going to have to pay all these and you're going to like take things out of my paycheck, why work at all? I mean, really, I'm just going to be giving it to you. I've had a lot of people tell me that in ways before, after a divorce and things. I'm like, that's not how it goes.
Once you get to a certain level of debt, it's hard to.
Yeah, you're like, why
get
feel
inspired? Like you're really making progress.
Like you would hope that people would want to, like, okay, I'm going to work this up. It's going to take me 20 years now. But he goes off, and you end up having Digger, who had the funny play.
Digger is fun in this book.
He's getting an ice cream.
I don't know much about Digger coming into this, but I'm liking Digger because we asked that last issue, like,
where is he?
Spidey was cutting through the Rose's men like hot butter, and yeah,
people are yelling, "Where's Digger? Where's Digger?"
And I was wondering, did Tombstone send him away somewhere? Was it part of a trick? No, it seems like Digger just was busy. He had other stuff to do.
He's getting ice cream.
And on the way back, he's stopping for ice cream.
He's just there. Nothing bothered him. He's just doing his deal.
But now he's scared because he knows he wasn't around when the Rose needed him. What does this mean for his, employment going forward? So now he's really motivated to be seen working hard on his boss's behalf.
That he's hiding, and Spider-Man gives him the idea. Like, I can fix you up. And I like this because it's like the opposite deal where we had Tombstone playing that. Now Peter's doing that where he does find them, and you get a little fight here, which is kind of funny. And I do like, again, like you said, Digger, he's funny because this guy that he's with kind of gets zipped away by Peter. And Peter even says, listen, the weirdos have to talk here. You're just a And then you have Digger go, hey, that's my friend. And all of his personalities start arguing. And I like even the way the art goes with John Romita Jr. with like, he's not our friend. He's a stooge. No, he's our friend. Well, what's his name? I don't know.
It's very Two-Face, right? Except he's what, 13 faces?
Yeah, 13
How many people
faces,
in there?
I believe. And in my mind,
face.
I'm waiting for a bunch of his different personalities to go, nah, 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 and go, boing, and get him. I mean, it really felt like the Three Stooges.
Every time
there.
He needs to make a decision, he rolls a 13-sided die. That's what happens.
There you go. And it's your turn. But yeah, he ends up where Spider-Man says, listen, I understand your problem here, and I think that, and actually, as he comes in, he says, hey, I need to talk to the intelligent one here, because I'm going to use big words when we make this plan, but I have a plan to help you out and maybe make things right for you. And basically, it is just to be seen. It's just to be seen doing something to try to get back. Yeah, do something for the Rose so that the Rose can hear. Because he says,
right. It's like if your wife's mad at you, you want to not only mow the lawn,
right?
You want to mow the lawn like when she sees you doing it and see how hard you're sweating and working. Oh, look, I'm doing my thing.
I was going worse. It's like when you're walking down the street with your wife, or girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, and somebody says something to them, and you're like, that's nothing. But then you look at, you have the Will Smith deal there with him. Oh, crap, I got to do something now. What am I going to do, Chris Rock? But yeah, you have that play where he just needs to be seen. And he is hilarious when he does, because all this
he's
play
the best, yeah.
is that Spider-Man finds out where there's the shipment. He's going to get Digger to go take care of it, take it down. And Digger's screaming in the middle. I mean, he is like, everybody, are you listening to me? You got to tell the Rose that I was beating you up. I mean, he's so over the top with it, which is funny. But at that point that this is happening, Peter has gone to hang out with Tombstone, which kind of threw me off a bit. And again, it's not a bad scene. It just really surprised
his house off on Long Island because his one in town got blowed up. We see his cat, the cat that he saved when his house got blowed up.
Remember, that's all he cared about. And you end up having Robbie, Randy, and Janice. They end up leaving. There's a little interplay with that you see that Robbie is not so happy about what happened with that kidnapping.
He was playing it nice in front of the kids. They just announced their engagement, right? You don't want to get kidnapping discussion mixed into engagement discussion.
Just was weird when you did that, because remember they came in and we thought it was a weird play because we thought there was going to be more nefarious, and it's like, hey, there's Robbie toasting. So yeah, I guess he was playing it up, because here though, with the kids there in the car, he yells out, I don't know if kidnapping is something I'd misunderstand. It's weird, but you have to do that so you know that Robbie's not
Zeb
down
Wells
with
is trying to play it both ways.
Yeah, and you're going with Robbie does not. They're still not friends. I mean, they aren't, and they end up. And we played this throughout in the past as well. So Spidey's there, and I do like this. It's this idea of like playing these games against each other, and who's the master, and who's this, and Spidey says, "Listen, you're right. You won. I give up. You won. Hey, how about I team up?" And does mention, like, what would people think of that? I think he's digging in, like you said. But then he's like, it was kind of weird. I was leaving like this place and I saw the Roses guys. They were going to take down like this whole shipment of yours. I didn't know if I was on your team. Is this a team up? Because I didn't know. So I just let it go so I could talk to you.
Am I on retainer here?
I don't know what's going on. And like, that call you just, that's about that. He goes, and Rabbit ends up calling. And I like that. And it's a very cinematic deal. Like, everything's real quiet and you end up having Tombstone. He's pouring a drink. He's drinking some wine. Oh, I got to get this call. Oh, my God. Oh, crap. It's like, we're done. She starts yelling. And then you see Digger, and he's hilarious. I mean, I already said it. He's like, you tell everyone Digger was here. You got it. You would listen and tell everybody, including the Rose. I was here. He's yelling, and that's a pretty funny play. And this shows, Tombstone. Yeah, you know what? And it's funny because it seems like he's like, it's fun to him. Like, okay, this is a game. I did use Spider-Man to do the stuff I needed to do. Hey, he got back to me. He's kind of cool, whatever. Until that weird
it's all part of the game.
Was it a weird play when Peter goes, listen, that stuff you said when you were a kid, you didn't get everything. I feel bad for you. You should have gotten some stuff, and I really do. Yeah, I really feel bad.
It's Spidey showing that he actually does care about what happened to Tombstone. Not like he's going to let him get away with anything now, but yeah, I do feel bad for that kid. And then we get this line. Remember, way back in issue 1, Peter Parker was in his limo, and he said, "You're a weird dude. Get out of my car." Now he says to Spidey, not knowing he's the same guy, "You're a weird dude. Get out of my house."
He goes back and has dinner with Aunt May, and Aunt May's happy. Says, "Hey, it's good to have you back." And then you have
this is the dinner that she invited him to way back, where she first told him how disappointed she was in him.
And it's funny because he goes there. He's all beat up, right? And then all of a sudden, he probably says, when did I get a dinner with Dr. Zaius? I mean, she looks like she's right from the Planet of the Apes of Dr. Zaius.
I have that in my notes. Planet of the Apes.
Doesn't it look like Dr. Zaius?
1,000%.
I'm glad that you thought that as well. Yeah, she's there. All of a sudden, Peter's like, damn you, it's our Earth, he's screaming, because they are in New York, so you can see all the stuff. Oh my goodness, it all wraps up. But yeah, so it's nice, and this is what we needed. I think that this is the win that I wanted everybody to get, the Spider-Man fans that have gone through a lot of crap. And I'm not just saying bad stories, I'm just saying Peter has gotten the crap kicked out of him for a long, long time, and it's nice to see him recover and starting to do that. Felicia kind of getting him inspired to do it as well. And that might be the play. I mean, is that the kind of the play of, a lot of writers do it. It drives me nuts sometimes of, hey, I'm going to really beat the crap out of a character to then get him back to the status quo. But the status quo now feels like I've done some great things. But this doesn't feel like deconstruction of a character. That's usually what I don't like of that. This just feels like
he's reminded who he is.
And he has some problems. We don't know what it is. I wish we did, but we don't. And so, there they go. And it seems nice. And you get that ending, little spider deal there. And so I like.
Yeah, it doesn't bring him back to the top, but he's like pointed in the right direction now.
Yeah. And he ended up being able to, kind of get Tombstone a bit. Like he's starting to get excited. Even seeing him get up early and go out as Spider-Man, that seems to be a little different too. So he's starting to get things going and getting it back to normal. The big play, though, is what's up with Mary Jane? That is a big thing that's still hanging, but we don't even have it. I'm glad the way that you do this, you're more focusing on Peter getting back to, being happy or whatever. We don't need the Mary Jane stuff. We'll get to that hopefully soon and what happened in New York and all that.
Well, I mean, next issue is the big Legacy number 900.
Yeah, it is. So we're going to have, and look at that.
That's supposed to be some sort of big change to the status quo. And after that, it looks like we're getting into the Goblin-related arc, the Norman Osborn
see what's
stuff.
going on. So what would you give this?
This was pretty good. I thought some of the drawing was just way too weird. Your Aunt May and some of the horrific beating up stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think that the revenge against Tombstone was quite as clever as Zeb Wells wanted me to think it was. But yeah, it was pretty good. I'm going to give this. I'll give this an 8 out of 10.
Yep, I'm going to give it an 8.3. A little bit more positive than you.